What is your name, please?
My name is Jim Buck, and this is Devin, a 10-month-old pedigreed Irish Wolfhound.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jim Buck, and this is Nimble, a 2.5-year-old pedigreed Great Dane.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jim Buck, and this is Happy, a 2-year-old who knows what.
Only one of these men is the real Jim Buck. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Florence Henderson, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by ANACIN, the headache tablet to relieve pain and so relax tension, calm nerves. ANACIN. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Florence, you have graced, and I do use the term advisedly, our daytime show many times. Welcome to the nighttime version.
Thanks, I'm very nervous.
Oh, come on. With all this wonderful... See there? Now you're set. Open up that envelope, if you will, and please follow along with me as I read. I, Jim Buck, am a professional dog walker. 12 hours a day, through rain, sleet, snow, or 90-degree heat, I walk through New York Central Park with my canine companions. Since I am also a qualified trainer, I am able to exercise 5 or 6 dogs at one time. At the height of the season, I walk more than 35 dogs every day. Signed, Jim Buck. Panel, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be Jim Buck, professional dog walker, and a busy one. Let's start this questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, how many dogs do you walk at a time?
I myself handle about 7. In emergencies, I can handle more.
Number 3, do you take them to the same place in the park? I guess you couldn't say. I mean, where do you take them in the park? Where do you take the dogs in the park?
Our 9 o'clock packs, which are the most robust dogs we have, go from the top of the reservoir at about 100th Street down to the duck pond by the Plaza Hotel and home again.
Oh, you don't just take them like one place and then turn around and come home, right?
No, our job is to build them up and to settle them down at the same time.
It's not just what you think, Tom. It's exercise.
Oh, I see. I thought it was...
Florence Henderson.
Number 1, what kind of people usually request the service?
People that are employed downtown are not able to be home to exercise their dogs properly.
I see. Number 3, where do you pick the dogs up? At the apartment?
We pick them up at their homes.
At their homes. Number 2, you are a dog trainer, right, as well? Can you train like Great Danes? I mean, to do all kinds of tricks and things, like a little dog?
He's already been trained.
He does all kinds of great tricks?
Not tricks, but he has been trained.
Well, let's hope.
He will obey commands.
Pretty big dog. Let's see. Number 1, how long do you keep the dogs out?
Generally for 2 hours.
I see. Nice walk.
Orson Bean.
Yes, Mr. Buck number 3. You're no relation to Frank Buck, are you?
Frank Buck was the animal man. I'm the dog man.
Oh, all right. Well, number 3, again now, you go in the park about 35 times a day. Aren't you afraid of the muggers, or do the dogs help you in that? I mean, if you were walking that little one that you had, he couldn't protect you from some of those
We
characters.
have them pretty matched up according to temperaments as opposed to size and shapes. We have the little fellows right along with the big ones.
I see. Number 2, do you have assistants?
Yes, I have 2 female assistants regularly in the daytime, and in the evenings, I have a couple of boys that help me out.
So it's true what they say, make big money in dog walking, eh?
Right.
Number 1, what is that dog that looks like a Cocker Spaniel fell in love with a Dachshund and they got married? And, have you ever seen those long, skinny, hairy dogs? No.
You're going to have to be a little more definite in your description.
No, no, if you saw him.
No. Kitty.
Number 3, is there any kind of a dog that's too stupid to train? We had one of those, and we got a report from his school, and it said he couldn't be housebroken.
Normally, with our program, we train the owner to handle the dog.
Number one, if you walk the dogs yourself, do they get enough exercise at your pace? Wouldn't it be better if you let them run?
I run at their pace. When we get to the park, we have a regular schedule that we run on.
And that's it. Time for you now
only got
to
two
mark
questions.
your ballots. Sorry, there were so many dogs. We didn't have more time. So mark with paw prints or what you will, but mark your ballots at once. Without consultation, of course. Simply vote without change and select as you go number 1, number 2, or number 3. And our team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. All ballots marked? Ooh, fast voting. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 2. I must say I feel a little betrayed because for all of those people who claim that the show is going to the dogs, I feel like I've run out of arguments after the day. I thought number 2 was the right one because he seemed to know pretty much about the organization of the dog walking company that he runs.
Florence Henderson.
Well, I voted for number 2 also. Number 3, I think, must be a comedy writer. He was very funny. And number 1 looks like he might have had a fight with the dog, so I thought he looked a little obvious. So I voted for number 2.
Orson Bean, what is your choice?
I voted for number 2 because he had that big Great Dane up there, and I know that if I were one of the fakes, I would have said, give me that little fellow at the end.
Kitty, which one do you think is the real
Well, I
one?
voted for number 1 because he does have a Band-Aid on his forehead, and I think anybody that walks that many dogs that many times a day is liable to get wounded somehow.
Very well, it's only slightly split off unanimity then. There are 3 for number 2, 1 for number 1. Let's find out, shall we? What is the truth in this situation, and which of these gentlemen is actually a professional dog walker? Will the real Jim Buck please stand up? Good job all the way. And this is not an easy panel to beat, believe me.
I'll bet he has the happiest dogs in town.
I bet he has
I was
too.
going to say we can learn to write a little comedy after walking some of our dogs.
For all you know, one of the dogs writes his material. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Richard Dean. I'm an industrial photographer.
All that happened was the camera jumped up on him. Number 2, you got most of the votes. What is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Ray Duffy, and I'm a captain in the New York Fire Department.
Well, you sure did a job on our panel, believe me. And checking up the score, it's easy. You've done it already, I'm sure, if you haven't already mentally spent the money. There were 4 incorrect votes, and that's the most you can have. 4 times $250 is one nice round $1,000, gentlemen, coming your way to divide, and may it bring you each great happiness. Thank you again. Good night, and God bless you. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Myra Waldo.
My name is Myra Waldo.
My name is Myra Waldo.
Will you follow along with your copies of this story, please, panel? I, Myra Waldo, have been traveling and writing cookbooks for over 10 years. I have tested recipes by cooking on a sampan in the harbor of Hong Kong and while on safari in Africa. Once I cooked an American Thanksgiving dinner in Russia. My latest book is called The Art of Spaghetti Cookery. In it, I list over 400 recipes for cooking what is known variously as either pasta, macaroni, or spaghetti. Spaghetti, as I also point out, dates back 5,000 years. It is not exclusively an Italian dish, but is found in various forms in China, Turkey, Czechoslovakia, Korea, Indonesia, and Hungary. As a matter of fact, present-day macaroni can be bought in some 150 different shapes and sizes. Signed, Myra Waldo. These three ladies all claim to be Myra Waldo, author of a book called The Art of Spaghetti Cookery. We'll start this cross-examination with our own spaghetti cooker, Florence Henderson.
Well, I do cook spaghetti. I'm not too good at it, but I love it anyway. Number one, for your cookbooks, since you've been writing cookbooks, how many cookbooks have you written?
23.
23 cookbooks? Number three, where do you get recipes to fill 23 cookbooks? Or did you write 23 also?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
I travel around the world and pick them up that way.
I see. Number two, you've been doing this for 10 years. You must have been awfully young when you started.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't that young.
Oh, no? Well, you look marvelous. Number one, would you name 5 different ways you can cook macaroni? It says here that you can cook 400 different ways. Could you name about 5 real fast?
5? Macaroni or spaghetti?
Well, whatever you have here, I guess spaghetti.
All right. Well,
spaghetti.
You cook spaghetti one way, but you can do 5 different sauces.
Well...
So you have 5 spaghettis.
Oh, I see. Thank you very much.
Orson Bean.
Yes, cooking on a sampan in Hong Kong. I've heard there is a dish, roast loin of spring mouse. Number 3. It's not too well known in this country. You don't have to laugh. Number 3. What did you cook on a sampan?
Number 3?
Yeah.
Carp that I caught off the sampan, but with ginger sauce.
Carp, as Freddie passed with carp. That's like a fish, right?
It is a fish.
Oh. That's not like a fish, it's a fish. Oh, I blew my time, friends.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2, what is it called when you say that pasta should be al dente? What does that mean?
Well, the literal translation is actually to the tooth, which means that the spaghetti should still be slightly chewy when you taste it.
Number 3, what is fettuccine?
Fettuccine is any kind. You can serve it with sauce, but it's any kind of a spaghetti.
Thank you. Number 1, what did you cook on when you were on safari?
On an open fire, actually, stones and a wood fire and a stone hearth.
Number 2, is there something called a safari stove?
They are available, but...
What kind of fuel do you use, number 1, in a safari stove?
Well, you use wood and charcoal.
Thank you.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number 2, what did you cook on your sampan?
Wait a minute.
I cooked fish, too. We caught a fish right off the sampan and then cooked it on a wok.
On a what?
On a wok.
What is a wok, my dear?
It's a Chinese frying pan.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Number 3, do you know what sriniki is? Sriniki?
No, I'm sorry.
You know number 2? Sriniki?
It's a pancake, a cheese pancake.
Thank you. Number 1, do you believe in serving wine with meals?
Oh, yes, of course.
What would you suggest serving with rosé wine, for instance, as opposed to red or white? What is rosé?
Rosé is a matter of taste. Actually, rosé you can serve with either a meat or a fish. It's a compromise wine.
Thank you. Is there a wine that you
Drink it and get compromised. Well, that's all the time we have, I'm sorry to say, but there you are now. You mark your ballots on what you have gleaned from this bit of questioning. Mark them at once, please, without change, and no consultation, of course, as before. Simply vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked as of now. So, Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I didn't think any of them looked like they were doing much 10 years ago, besides being young ladies. But I thought number 2, I figured that if she'd written that many cookbooks, she'd have to know about Sriniki. I was put off number 1 because of her direct answer on that stove, and it was wrong, according to Miss Carlisle. On an earlier show, she told us that paper was used in those safari stoves.
See there?
I remembered.
Yes, you have total recall. Florence Henderson.
And I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know. I'm really kind of torn. I think number 1 would have given me those 5 ways to cook spaghetti pretty fast. I don't know, so I didn't vote for her. I voted for number 3. I mean, I didn't know what a sriniki was myself, so there.
Orson Bean.
Well, number 2 knew about al dente, which does mean what she said, and wok, whatever that is. It's a good Chinese word. She cooked on a wok. And a shwiniki. I never knew what it is, but I knew what a blini is, and that sounds like a shwiniki. And a blini is a little incy-beansy pancake when you don't have much money.
Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 2. I'm always being fooled by my panel members, and I'm glad that Shwiniki is on the level, because I thought if number 2 knew what it was that fast, it should be number 2.
Very well, that gives us near unanimity, and we didn't serve you so well before. This time it is 3 for number 2, 1 for number 3. Let's try that on for size and see how it works as we learn now which one of these ladies actually has written many, many cookbooks, and a special one lately, The Art of Spaghetti Cookery. Will the real Myra Waldo please stand up? You came back strong. You came back real strong on that one, I must say. They probably felt the defeat of the first one and felt they had to do something to justify their existence. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Verna Linkram, and I'm Director of Volunteer Services at New York Medical College, Flower Fifth Avenue Hospital.
Thank you. And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Virginia Gross. I have ballroom classes for teenagers.
Well, we thank you, ladies, and in checking the score, we find that there were only 1 incorrect vote, but that's worth $250 from ANACIN, as well as a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of ANACIN. And our sincere thanks to you for sharing your time with us, only hoping you had as good a time as you brought to us. Good night, and God bless you. Our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Meredith Berle.
My name is Meredith Berle. My name is Meredith Berle.
Please follow along as I read this story. Panel, I, Meredith Berle, am a geographer. I work for the United States Department of Interior as Executive Secretary of the Board on Geographic Names. Some of our work consists of seeking worldwide agreement on place names for such international areas as the continent of Antarctica. We are also involved in the standardization of the names of all the geographical features in the United States. Our basic aim is to eliminate confusion and duplication. For example, we have given different names to over 100 bodies of water that were all once called Mud Lake. We also approved the change of Mole Hill, West Virginia, to Mountain, West Virginia, and Hot Springs, New Mexico, to Truth or Consequences. Signed, Meredith Berle. We bring you 3 gentlemen, each of them claiming to be Meredith Berle, geographer with the United States government. And we start this time, I think, with Orson Bean. Orson?
Thank you. Mr. Berle, number 1, where is the town of Santa Claus?
Minnesota.
Number 3, why did the good people of Mud Lake wish to change their name? If I lived in a place like Mud Lake, I would have thrown up a barrier rather than let them change the name.
There are so many of them that Mud Lake as a name is not a distinctive one.
People's mail would go askew and things like that, was it?
Good.
All right, that's a fair answer. Number 2, what is the town with the longest name in the United States? Number 1, do you know?
I don't.
Number 3. It's an old Indian name. Patrick, well, nobody knows it.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, who's the Secretary of the Interior?
Stuart Udall.
Number 3, why would Hot Springs, New Mexico, want to change their name to Truth or Consequences?
This was brought about in connection with the former show, Truth or Consequences.
Very strange. Who runs the National Geographic magazine, number 2?
This is privately run by the National Geographic Society.
Thank you. Number 3, when you have an international thing, how do you get together with everybody on how to call things in the Antarctica?
You let them know what you propose to do and see if they concur with it.
And if they don't like it?
Tom Poston.
Yes, what do you do if they don't like it, number 2?
Well,
Number 2?
I'm sorry, did you mean me?
Yes, number 2. Did you agree with number 3's answer?
Not complete. I think I can amplify that some.
Please do.
The opinions of the local people are always taken into consideration. Our board's decisions are in the nature of recommendations.
Thank you. Number 1, there's a broad shelf of land that's under relatively shallow water surrounding most land masses in the world. What is that area called as opposed to the deeps?
A delta.
Pardon me?
A delta?
No, it's surrounding the whole mass of land, not just at the...
Florence Henderson.
Number 2, who appointed you to this position?
This was a civil service appointment.
I see. Number 3, how long have you held this position?
21 years.
21 years? Good for you.
Thank you.
It's marvelous. Number 1, are you expected to know all the names of all the little towns that belong to the United States?
No, you're not expected to know them.
Number 2, how do you find out about little towns that need name changing? Does somebody write into you and ask?
Those come up, a few of them do.
I like my name changed.
Most of them are brought up in the nature of problems. In other words, someone presents the case to us as a problem, such as the Mud Lake problem was mentioned. Too many of them.
I see.
And that's it.
Oh, dear.
Not too many minutes, unfortunately. The time is gone. So will you mark your ballots, please? Swiftly, to the point, without change, and no consultation. Voting for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots are marked, so Tom...
I didn't mark mine yet,
sorry,
Bud, because I don't know what I'm doing over here.
Join the club.
Well, as soon as you have marked, then tell us for whom you voted.
I voted for number 3 because I liked him.
Florence.
Well, I voted for number 3 because he said he had held the position for 21 years, and I'm sure he must know all the names of all those little towns.
Orson.
Number 1 threw me off, and he said that the mass of land under the sea was the delta. Number 2 was too anxious to amplify the other's questions. He would have been more taciturn had he been the real one. You can see how I work these things out in my little mind. And number 3 got my vote because he was the only one left.
Kitty.
I voted for number 3 pretty much on the basis of Orson. I ruled out number 1 and number 2, and I'm sure we're both wrong. But number 3 also looked like a kind of a mediator. He looked like the sort of man who would make everybody happy about the name of their new town.
So here we have complete unanimity. We've sort of flirted with it all evening, but tonight you really went all out. Let's see how it stacks up with the truth, shall we? As we learn now which one of these gentlemen is, in fact, part of the United States government in the department or category of geographer. Will the real Dr. Meredith Berle please stand up? Well, panel, you did everything you could do tonight. You goofed completely on the first two, and you came back partway on the second, and a sweeping victory on the third. Well done. Number one, what is your real name, and what do you really do, sir?
My name is Jack Kuhn, and I'm head of production for Movietone 20th Century Fox.
Thank you. And number two, what is your real name, and what do you do?
My name is Bill Maggle Hayes, and I'm a buyer for Consolidated Edison.
Well, the score checks unhappily for you, but happily for the panel. And, of course, there were no incorrect votes. In that case, there still come from ANACIN $150 to you gentlemen to divide. And our thanks, of course. And on your way out, there will be a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of ANACIN. Thank you, gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed it. Good night. God bless you. The time we have, but it was fun. And what merit there was in it is thanks to you, panel. All of you be sure to watch us again next week, and at the same time, I'll be with you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. Be looking for you there, too. And in the meantime, may I remind you, on behalf of ANACIN, to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. To Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by ANACIN, a headache tablet to relieve pain. So relax tension, calm nerves. ANACIN. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was recorded.